Janelle, are you recording?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I would like to call the Plan Commission work session meeting to order on Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Would you please take roll call?
Bertle,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Shumway,
Here.
Gretzmacher,
Here.
and Schmitz.
Here.
I'm assuming that Bell will be a little bit late.
I'm
Yes.
presuming if he also biked, yes.
Yes.
Then
Okay.
Lord is excused.
Comments, correspondence, and concerns from the public. We have no public joining us, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by
Second.
Baker, second by Gretzmacher. All in favor, respond with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the minutes as published from March 29th. Any questions, comments, additions, deletions? Then is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Schmitz,
I'll second it.
second by Baker. All in favor, respond with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Business item number 1, conducting of a Plan Commission work session at which amendments to the portions of the zoning code, chapter 66 of the municipal code that pertain to transient lodging in the B1, B2, and B3 districts, as well as conditional use permits in all zoning districts will be addressed. Okay, Bo, what do you got to share with us?
I'm going to share my screen. I hope everyone was able to access the Google Share or the OneDrive that I had sent to everybody. It looks like this.
Got
Can
it.
everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Got
Okay,
it.
by the way, Nate's joining as well, so you may hear him pop up in a second. So Denise, as you can see on this screen, I'm in red, or I'm not in red. Someone else is on. I believe I'm in blue, but if you have this page open right now, I can see it as the administrator. And if Denise wanted to make a change, she could make a change right now and it would show up on the screen. So just explaining to you what this is an active document. Everybody who has access to it that I've sent it to can make an edit and I can track it. It's color coded. And it looks like there has been some edits made. So Denise, I figured we could start from the top and just work our way down as we need to.
Yeah, I took all of my questions and changes from my hard copy that I'd gone through and inserted them into here. So that's what you will see in red and also in yellow highlight.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So we can start scrolling, and if you see something, let me know. Looks like we had some change here, just grammatical.
Yep.
Then we have an addition to amusement park.
Well, just because we have a go-kart track within the village, I thought it would make sense to include it in there.
Add it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Going down, antenna. Someone added an internet.
I put that, I didn't put, I came in as guest and made a couple of changes with what's going on right now. And in terms of defining things with internet coming in through satellites now, I thought it would be appropriate to say both. It is just tightening it up a little bit.
I had no
Excellent.
issues with that.
Good.
Oh, makes sense.
Okay. Under art gallery, we changed dealing with selling.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Awning.
So under awning, it used to say see marquee, but nobody uses marquee. So I took the definition from marquee and put it under
put there.
awning.
Makes sense.
I mean, have you ever called them a marquee? I don't know. Maybe it's my age. I don't know.
I've always
I
called
always
it-
thought of a marquee as being part of a movie theater.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, doesn't sound
Good.
like anyone had any other questions, so we'll move on. Um, benign has been changed, it's just non-conforming.
Okay.
I hate to backtrack, but going back to amusement park, did you want to flesh that out to include bouncy castles? Which are temporary structures which appear to have now had a permanent residence in some of Sister Bay's amusement parks?
I almost think that would fall under various devices for entertainment.
So you're saying up at Johnson Park, they have this permanently, Mary Kay?
Well, it's been up for a few years now.
Yeah.
Okay,
We could say,
we can add it. I mean, if it's there and if we consider that part of an amusement park, I have no problem with it.
They use it at Marina Fest also. There's one down there.
is that okay with everyone? Inflatable structures?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay, so we went through benign last, so we'll move forward. Now, building setback, subdivision was highlighted.
Right, because I guess I just didn't understand why subdivision was in there. We have a building setback in every district. So why is subdivision in here?
I also later on pulled it out and just let the development be the word, because why are we being specific about a subdivision? Don't we just want to say any development of the property?
Right.
I would agree with that.
Mhm.
Was everyone okay with this?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, we'll move forward. Camping unit, camping party is highlighted.
I mean, shouldn't it just be any single shelter except sleeping bags, bedrolls, and hammocks used for camping, period?
I would agree. I think you can take all of this out.
I don't think anybody calls it a camping party. That might just be me. I know it's kind of minuscule in the big picture of things, but if we're going through it,
You might as well clean it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Casual, non-commercial use.
so this we put in when Bob was there, and because we have now determined short-term rentals and long-term rentals, this, I believe, no longer applies. It may have some effect in other sections of the code, so we would have to follow up on where those are. But this just simply does not apply anymore, I believe.
Yeah, you could delete this and staff could do a word search and make sure that anywhere it's on, it's not negatively impacting the code.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll delete it for now, and then staff, we won't do it now, but staff will go through and just make sure that that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, this was something that we added in the definitions as we discussed at a previous meeting. So anything in blue over here is something we've already previously discussed. I just added it to the zoning code.
Yep.
Okay, commercial transient lodging is highlighted.
It's the same as what we just deleted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Community-based residential facility.
Is that what they're really called? Or wait,
I've
no,
never
maybe
heard
it wasn't, maybe it wasn't that. Because Hearthside, it is a CBRF. That's what Hearthside is. But my question was, why is it defined as 3 or more unrelated adults?
Does
That-
that tie back to a state definition?
That's what I was wondering. Is that in a statute somewhere? So I think we should follow up on that to make sure that it's related to a state thing, or if not, it's just where a place where adults reside.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note.
Okay,
Condominium residential.
Here we have in the casual non-commercial use. So,
Excuse me, I looked up the definition of CBRF. And
okay,
VHS site says it's a community-based residential facility, means a place where 5 or more adults who are not related to the operator or administrator.
So it's different.
so we lowered the standard and that's okay.
Yep. You can do
Okay.
that.
All right, just wanted to clarify that. And like some of the places in here where, it references statutes, I think, just like we had that one relating to chapter 50 of the statutes, and it was actually DAT cap chapter 70. I just think we should confirm, that all of those statutes, we're still quoting them correctly as a follow-up.
Okay. Okay. Condominium residential. So this one says where more than 75% of the units are owner occupied and the casual non-commercial use does not exceed 30 days per year per unit.
So because we're getting rid of casual non-commercial,
I would say that we're covering this in different definitions.
Yep.
okay.
Okay. Convenience, we're just taking the word food out. I get that.
Yep.
but I did also have a question on where does the 3,000 square feet come from? What
You,
was that a number we pulled out of our, what?
it could be, I could see where anything greater than 3,000 square feet wouldn't be considered a convenience store. It would be considered like a grocery or a retail.
Okay,
Then the definitions and the requirements may change.
okay. I mean, is everybody okay with that? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's like, trying to think. I think that's my gross retail space at Birdo's is 1,500. So that doesn't include, my back room and my office. So so it would be bigger than Birdo's building. So that's pretty big for a convenience store. So, okay.
How big is the BP up across from the pig? Is that about the same size or not?
I
That
think
would be-
yours might be smaller.
I was gonna say that retail space is definitely smaller.
But how about now the new place down by the old Shopco? How big are they gonna be?
Yeah, they're,
That one was not 3,000 square feet. If I remember right off the top of my head, it was like 1,000.
Okay,
well, with the addition,
Yeah, that was the addition. I think the total place was like 2,000, right around the 2,000 mark.
okay,
Okay.
Okay. We're just adding planting plan.
Yes.
okay,
Okay, and then below that, we're adding childcare center, removing the group daycare center and changing the definition.
And that's one of the statutes, I guess if Janelle wants to look this up while, we're moving through this, that would be great.
Janelle's on the phone at the moment, but I'm sure when she's off,
Oh.
she'd be happy to do that. That's okay.
So again, it was just, 4 more persons under the age of 7.
Janelle, would you be able to look that up just to confirm?
Sure,
No,
sorry.
that's
That's
okay.
okay.
One of the dogs was at the vet and the vet called.
Gotta take that
All
call.
right. Yeah. All right, so what am I looking up?
Can you look up?
Section 48.65 of the statutes about daycare, childcare, family daycare home, any of those, group daycare.
Okay.
I mean, we can still move
Alright.
on while Janelle looks for that.
I
Oh,
got it.
okay.
Okay, it says no person may for compensation provide care and supervision for four or more children under the age of 7 for less than 24 hours a day.
So that's pretty in line.
Yep. Okay.
And it's under the age of
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, then they're in school.
Okay, so just moving on. It looks like deed restriction was added. If you want me, I can put a definition in for deed restriction. That's no problem.
Yes, I did not come up with one.
I can do that and we can share that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Under development project, we're removing subdivision plan and that's consistency. Because that would be considered residential.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Looks like we're removing mining, seeing how we don't have a mine anymore.
Right.
Okay. Direct illumination. We have highlighted not light diffused through translucent signs.
So we don't allow those in the village. We got rid of those long time ago, and I think that there were only a couple left, and one of them was Bay Lake Bank, I think might have been the last one to go. Or do we still need to keep it in there because it's not direct illumination?
I would argue that you should keep that in there.
Okay. Okay,
Because-
then you
yeah,
can
because-
unhighlight it.
Yep.
Okay.
Should we be referring to those as, I mean, if we're talking about that, we're talking about internally illuminated signs.
Correct.
Is that how we should be referencing it there, or are we just,
You could do this. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Internally.
Display lot or area. Accurate color perception of merchandise by customers is required.
Yeah, I'm just wondering
I
why
don't know.
that's in there.
I don't know if we need something like this in here.
I mean, because we don't want to have a Jim Olson Motors somewhere with those very tall lights,
Right.
you know, ruining the dark sky. That so would not fall under dark skies.
Qualifies display lot.
was it there because of Beacon and Cal?
Yeah,
It might be.
It might have been when they were talking about either moving next to Lampert's or out on 57 on that corner lot. I don't know if they still own it or not.
They do, and they do plan on doing that still.
Okay, I don't care if it's at night. The lighting plan is just the lighting plan, and I think that would be horrible for the village.
Right, when you pull into the village to have a huge bright. Yeah, it would
Mhm.
I always
Be
imagine
challenging.
car dealerships off the freeway.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if we just get rid of everything pertaining to active nighttime sales.
yeah. That's easier.
You know, get rid of that
Simpler.
whole sentence and to start it with, to qualify as a display lot, one of the following specific uses must occur. I mean, I don't know what, maybe because we haven't really dealt with this so much, but I can't think of anything in the code that, because it's a display lot or area, that we would treat it any differently than anything else.
I may be wrong, but I think the only thing that would be considered a display lot would be Beacon.
Yeah.
Until somebody comes along with something new.
Yes,
Which you would have already addressed it though.
Right.
doing
And
something
I
like-
think assembly lots and swap meets can be deleted.
Okay. And then I see it's the municipalities taken out and just referring it to plan commission directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that would have to go to plan commission.
correct.
Okay, moving on to driveway. Area used for vehicular travel to the street right of way. Simple.
Yeah, the other was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best definition for it. Okay. Moving on. Dwelling unit efficiency, removing the kitchenette facility.
I mean, kitchen, kitchenette, one and the same.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing in dwelling unit as well as or intended to provide, just cleaning it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dwelling unit, just changing or to and.
Yep.
Doing the same thing on dwelling single family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, adding sanitary.
Okay.
Okay. Family is highlighted.
I was wondering, the way things have changed, if there's a new definition by the state for family.
Mhm.
Because it talks about 4 unrelated persons who live together in one dwelling unit. So it was just a general question on, you know, has the definition with the state changed?
I can check real quick.
Okay.
Please. Yeah.
I mean, do you have the statutes right there pulled up, Janelle?
No, I just Google the terms, but I just do it through what we used to do when we would be doing research.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, a family is a group of 2 or more persons related by birth, marriage, or adoption who live together.
that's it.
Pretty
Yeah.
much what we got.
Okay, and so then we're saying that 4 unrelated persons can also, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you can unhighlight that then.
Okay, food truck. So
Mhm.
someone added food truck, so I threw in a definition, but I also added another definition later on for some clarity. And I'll highlight that when we get to it. But is everyone okay with the definition I put for food truck? The should be taken out. Oh, wait, often a motorized.
Should we be referring to it as mobile instead of motorized? Because if you look at what, there's plenty of trailers out there that are doing the same
True.
thing.
It's a good point.
Good point.
Truck or trailer.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Thank you, Nate. Does anyone have any questions on that
Nope,
Should we-
simple.
Should we
Okay.
still call it a vehicle though?
Let's just start it with often.
Or,
Okay.
no, let's start it with
No.
a mobile truck or trailer.
Yep.
Even simpler.
Yeah.
Okay, formula business, I can put together a definition for this as well.
Okay, Heidi has a bunch of stuff that she printed out for me. So she probably has all of that you can just reference.
Perfect. Okay, I'll just put that note in there.
And just so the plan commission knows, the reason I'm putting in that is because I'm working on a formula business ordinance that we'll get to after we redo this code.
Okay.
So something like that, it seems like we should have somebody else review it aside from us to make sure that it's going to survive a challenge, because that is one of the most likely ordinances to get challenged we'd ever have. Is there anything we should do as far as that goes, as far as legal review, or?
Oh, yeah, I will send it to Randy, absolutely.
I think,
Before it ever comes to plan commission.
yeah, I think before you do a public hearing, you want legal to clear
Yeah.
all of our changes.
I guess I'm more thinking about it as it's interacting with us as well, because sometimes we have great ideas and I think it would be nice to have a dialogue there. But
Well, I mean, Bo could send, this document after we fill in the blanks or whatever, and it would be real easy for Randy to look at it, with the different colors on there, and these are the changes, and have him give the nod. That's easy enough to do, Nate.
okay,
I think Randy wouldn't be opposed to just being sent this OneDrive document, and he could see it as we change it, and I can let him know if we need him to look at something specific after we change it.
Okay.
Okay. Garage sale. Looks like a new definition has been put in.
Well, no, it used to say see rummage sale. Most people call them garage sale. So that's where I put in the thing. And then you go to rummage sale and it says, or maybe I deleted that. Garage sales are also known as rummage sales.
Okay.
So I got rid of a definition.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Grocery stores highlighted that 25,000 square feet.
Right. Is the pig even 25,000 square feet?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
So I think we need to check on that.
Okay.
And then change it because they are our grocery store.
Yes. I will do that. Okay.
Shouldn't we also check the size of the former Shopco Crisp building though, also? As that is pre-existing? Rather than lower it, make sure that both are in compliance.
That's, yeah, because we don't know what could go in there. It could be. a
I think
grocery
that,
store.
thinking back, I think that 25,000 came from the Christ building.
Well, it was originally a grocer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're right, Marge, if I remember way back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it came from.
Okay.
So I wonder what we classified Piggly Wiggly as if they're less than 25,000 square feet.
We got
the
away
pig
with
is about, I mean, just rough outside dimensions, it's about 15 or 16,000 square feet. And I'm just gonna go cruise over to I'm not in the GIS doing a quick measurement. I can look at give us a ballpark on it.
I mean, I think we have to change it to what the pig is.
Yeah.
And it's the minimum.
Yeah, exactly. At least. So it really wouldn't matter
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I think Shopko's far larger. So, okay. I will check on Piggly Wiggly. Group daycare center is highlighted and it says delete. Is that to keep it in line with what we did with childcare?
Yes.
And then group home, I'm guessing we want to check on that definition as well because it's highlighted.
Yes. The statute.
You want me to do that quick?
Yep.
Please.
Thank you.
Well, actually, it probably should be. If we already checked 4865 under group daycare, it probably is correct because it's in the same section.
Okay, what 4862 is sub 2, is it?
Says group home.
Group home, okay. One second.
Oh, actually, no, this isn't supposed to be deleted because this is different. It was just checking the statute because this talks about 5 to 8 children.
Yeah.
So it's a different,
Okay. Any person who receives with or without transfer of legal custody 4 or fewer children, or if necessary to enable a sibling group to remain together, 6 or fewer children.
well, that doesn't, the two
No.
definitions don't work at all.
No. Okay, let me do group home once. I think that's the wrong section number.
Okay, so let's highlight that and then staff can follow up on that and
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Height of tower.
what kind of tower are we talking about? Tower including any antenna or that word I can never pronounce.
Or appurtenances.
Yeah, that's the one.
Didn't we put that in there? There was something that came up 4 or 5 years ago about some new rights that towers could be built in a community.
You can't really stop a tower from getting built anymore in the state of Wisconsin. You can slow it down.
That
at
was
best,
it.
But I mean, if you look at the document packages that everybody's come into the village with, every time they want to put something on Lundquist, they got this massive stack of documents that covers all the state statutes very, very much so. So it doesn't really matter as much as
Okay,
I mean,
you
you
may
can,
want to. The other thing is on the antennas, and I said this before, but I was muted. Anything we're referring to antennas and anything like that, we should make sure we refer back to OTARD. It is a federal guideline that is changed. It just changed this last year. It talks about what you can do as far as restricting transmissions. There's less and less that localities can do from a federal level as well as a state level.
how would you like that to read then, if we included something like that?
I would just say as we were applying this, we should keep OTARD in mind because we wouldn't want to put something in there that we know isn't going to be enforceable.
okay, so
Hard to-
then maybe that's a new definition, Nate.
I mean, we'd have to tie it to the current federal statutes and those, I hate doing that because if it ever changes, then we automatically change to whatever they've got.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's more something we need to keep in mind when we're actually implementing this and when we actually utilize this, if we do utilize this definition.
okay. All
Okay.
right, well, then we can unhighlight that.
Okay, I've removed the old hotel definition and included the one that we worked on together.
Mhm. Right?
I also changed hotel motel condominiums per our discussion. And operational was highlighted.
So what does operational mean? I highlighted that.
From how I read it is 2 hours per day while operational, while they're in business, while there is someone utilizing the business.
We talked about seasonality at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think you may see sometimes in the off season where they may not be operational, so they would not require someone to be on site.
Right. Okay. I was just questioning that word and if there was a better word, or if that's
I
the word.
Yeah, when it came to seasonality, I think operational is the best way to put it.
How
Okay.
did we get it 2 hours? I don't remember landing on that last meeting.
I think if I remember right, someone mentioned, we said originally 4 hours, and then someone said, well, that may not be the case. They may just stop it if there's one or, fewer than 2 tenants or something like that, where you really wouldn't want it up to 4 hours. They may just pop in and out.
Do we have to include that in the, yeah, I guess we do have to include that the definition.
Right.
What if we don't have the staff member must be on site, and then when we go to reference it, we can determine how many units as to how long that is? Because if there's a 10 unit, having 2 hours might be enough, but if it's, the hotel door, they should be more than that, or is 2 enough to protect us from
Well,
what we're concerned about?
to me, it protects ourselves because we're really only stating a minimum. I don't think you'll see anyone at the Door Hotel hit 2 hours and decide, well, I can leave. I think they'll be forced to be there, and be staffed.
I think that it's that smaller unit, those smaller units that where this is going to be an issue, because market forces are going to maintain the larger hotel is going to have
Well,
to.
this is just for hotel motel condominium though. So this is additional on top of the hotel definition. So the Door Hotel is not a hotel motel condominium. They are just a hotel. So
Yeah.
Does that make sense? This is more focused in on those smaller condominium residential developments.
I'm just thinking of some things that have come before the Plan Commission in the recent history, and some of the concerns I had about them, and making sure this addresses them enough. And that's, I guess 2 hours is enough. Does anybody else have any feelings on that? That seems like too little, or?
I don't
have-
like it.
I have reservations,
I agree.
along with you.
We had talked about this in conjunction with the information provided by Roman. And that is when we made the determination. He said that he can answer most questions in the off season by text or by direct line when he is not on site. That was our discussion, as I recall, where we came up with the 2 hours per day.
See, I keep getting stuck on the hotel motel condominiums. And I fight with myself over this, because we know the market has changed, and what I deem a hotel motel condominium is Birchwood or Scandinavian Lodge. And even though they have some reduced front desk hours, in the off season, there is somebody still there for quite a few hours. And what I don't like is a hotel motel condominium then being independently owned, each unit, and they VRBO it. That's what I don't like. That's what I cannot distinguish how we can define them differently, and that's what I don't like.
I think that what we can do is raise the bar on this a little bit to make it so that those mass VRBO units aren't as inexpensive to operate. I mean, I would think that 4 hours a day seems more reasonable to me. And that's not even saying they have to be staffed at the front desk. That's saying they have to be on site, which realistically, you're going to be on site for that much time anyway.
I think to Nate's point, what you might see in those developments that we're recently seeing is potentially an on-site manager or owner, staff member potentially lives on site. So, in essence, they would be there obviously for more than 2 to 4 or 4 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. I don't think that they're going to give away one of their units that they're not going to make money on to have staff on site.
And I think we also probably should tie in there the hook that they have to be available, because I can be on site and not available for the customers. That's really hard to challenge. I was in the back room and I didn't have my phone on. It would seem like that would be pretty easy to claim.
It's 80% owned, or why can't we go back up there? And what do we call a condominium that can be rented?
I just want to go back and look at condominium.
Yeah.
Well, we have condominium hotels. I feel like that's just exactly what maybe that should come out, because we're talking about hotel motel condominiums. It's just organized differently. Okay, condominiums. I don't know if we kept anything that says strictly just condominiums. So we'll have to add that.
Why wouldn't we keep residential? And I guess, Mary Kay, what would you call a condominium that is intended to be rented, but not, individually?
The village doesn't really have any one animal that is like that right now, but with the exception maybe of, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, everyone. He came before us 20 times. Mr. Quinn, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. He has something like that. That's really the only one that I can think of. But I do believe that there was the proposition for many, many more. Marina View, as we know, was forced to have deed restrictions where 1/3 of the units were for transient rental under the definition developed by the village. The only comment that I'd make in regards to this proposal is you have to understand that we don't have that many management companies, and the management companies that we do have, like Door County Property Management, are extremely picky as to what they pick up. It has to have a water view or a certain level of finish or be on the waterfront. And if you're saying that these have to be under one single entity going forward, I could see some problems with that, wherein I know more management companies are starting up. I do know that because it's a legitimate and profitable business. But I don't know why you wouldn't allow, so long as it is a professionally established licensed management company. These buildings do not have front desks. I guess that's what I'm thinking of. You asked the question about condos. There is no check-in at these places. You get a key code or a punch code, and then when you go in the unit, you are told who to contact, be it Michael Williams Company or Door County Property Management or J&R Vacation Rentals. But it's a very different animal than a condominium hotel motel.
So let's try this. If you took condominium residential, put in a new section called condominium rental, turn these definitions around, so 75% are rented, and you put in the caveat that they're run by one outfit that is available 24 hours a day, would that handle what we're worried about?
So essentially something,
You're pretty much going to reverse what we said here in terms of percentages, and then in addition, add the caveat that we want the one management company.
so
I don't think you can do one management company for something that's Verbo or Airbnb.
Okay.
And I would wait to see some of these court cases play through, but I realize we don't have time.
So the best that we could do is come up with some verbiage and have Randy review it for whatever information is out there that he would be able to research
Yeah.
at this time.
Okay,
okay, well, I'll leave this as started and I'll talk to Randy. Okay, is it okay if we just continue from here going down?
Yeah, because we need more information. Yeah.
So kennel, we just took it down from 8 to 3.
Well, because a private kennel is no more than 2 dogs. And then the other kennel is 8. Well, what happens between 3 and 8? That made no sense.
okay.
Fine with that.
What is a private kennel as opposed to a kennel?
I have no idea, Mary Kay. Oh, for personal use.
Yeah,
So a private person, that's right. Sister Bay doesn't allow anybody to have more than 2 dogs.
That is not true. You changed that
True.
ordinance.
I was gonna
3
say,
dogs.
yeah, how many do you have?
3.
All right,
I'm
there we go.
legal.
Now we're consistent.
Well, it's private kennel is the wrong word then. Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know if you need this, honestly. Because if it's stated in the municipal code that you can have up to 3 dogs, then there's really no need for a private kennel, is there?
No,
No.
no. Nope.
And then we would change it to 4 or more dogs.
Here?
Right
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Let's just change that while we're here.
One there.
Okay, freight barriers is highlighted in loading area. Or freight carriers, I'm sorry.
Is that a semi-tractor trailer?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody actually call them freight carriers?
I have never heard that before.
Me either.
I heard Bob call them freight carriers, but
Well, that's where that came
Why it's
from.
in there.
Right. There's a hyphen in there. Okay. Lodging I added from our meeting as well as long-term rental. Looks like someone took an edit to the long-term rental definition.
I did that.
Okay. Past that lot area we have highlighted, including any streets right away.
That no longer, that shouldn't apply anymore. Remember when we were talking about Dollar General?
Yeah.
And when the DOT redid the road and then they bought the property, and even if on some side roads, there is something for a street right of way, I really don't believe that any of it, now it talks about gross and net, but I think we should really look at this. I mean, I don't believe that you should be able to use a right of way as part of your area,
Buildable lot, yeah.
buildable lot. Thank you, Marge.
You run into a lot of problems with that because you'd be coming in conflict with the actual tax records about
Yeah.
what someone owns with a surveyed property that goes into the right of way.
Yeah, I would agree with Mary Kay on that.
Well, but you can get rid of any street right of way that you are paying taxes on and lessen your tax burden and hand it over to the village or the county or whoever owns the road. Can you not?
I've never heard of it being done. The road, if you own property into the state highway, which many people do, you're already getting that serviced, I guess my question is for Bo. Bo, do you feel that setbacks as existing cover lot area for building? I do. I mean, you might own into the street right of way, but the village isn't going to allow you to build into it.
Correct. We would never let you build into it.
Okay,
Yeah. That one I would feel more comfortable leaving in there.
okay. It was for conversation purposes.
I'll do some research though. I'd be happy to look into it. I want to leave that highlighted for now.
Well, then write Bo research.
Major recreational equipment. Sorry, tent trailers.
What are tent trailers?
Those are attachments you can put on the back of like pickup trucks that are mobile tents.
So it's different than a pickup camper?
I think they have
I
different.
would think a pickup camper would have solid sides. whereas
Okay,
a Camper would be just fabric.
Yeah.
okay. I'm not a camper. God, no.
Me neither.
Never will be. Never want to own a sleeping bag.
You must have a chat sometimes with Steve on that subject.
Okay.
He has a wife who is a camper, okay?
I'll tell you, I did it for the first time last year. I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't volunteer to do it again. Okay, Marquis, clearing that up.
Yeah, and it just says now see awning.
Okay. Going down, I see that there was an addition to what I put in here. Should we consider deleting mixed use?
This this has not turned out how we wanted it to. And so I'm wondering, do we still want to have that definition in there? Because I believe that an accessory use, if somebody still wanted to have a business downstairs and live upstairs, it is allowed as an accessory use. And I know that this is how Quinn got his approval. But I think it's more a problem definition than it's a good definition. So I'd like to know what anybody else thinks.
Denise, could you give me a few more examples of structures and or businesses that are existing mixed use in the village so I can have them in my mind?
Well, Quinn is really the only one that I can think of.
What about the people who own, am I right, Points North or Ron? Is it different name now? Next to Grassie's
Oh,
going.
kind goods.
Kind Goods, sorry.
So I'm looking up just in the downtown district as an example, that a permitted accessory use is an accessory residential use. Residential units and commercial transient lodging located on a ground or non-ground level on the same property shall be allowed with the minimum floor area as provided below. Well, I don't like that. I would personally want to change that to not include commercial transient lodging. But we already allow it for that to happen. So I think, and Nate was arguing against himself the last time about this. And saying that, well, as long as the first floor, is commercial, do we really care what's on the second and third floor?
It's not so much just that we don't care, but it's actually what's happening, and it's going to allow more residential units in there, provided that in concert with reducing the minimum size. And it's that first floor that's going to be retail anyway. I mean, if you have a multi-story building, how many people are going to be going into retail on the second and third floor?
Right, unless it's a mall, which Sister Bay is not going to have. So the only real reason that I believe that this is here would be, as an example, who was the guy from Egg Harbor that came to the Plan Commission, wanted to do his the 4-story condo?
Armbruster was his last name.
Yes, Mike Armbruster, thank you. And, and he didn't want to do commercial on the first floor because he didn't want, and he wanted to sell all the other units to be residential on the second, third, and fourth floor. That's the only time I think this mixed use really comes in to play, is when you're having something larger than a single unit. So Quinn was a 4.
Not necessarily, because there are units at Country Walk that do have retail on the first floor and residential on the second floor. So I'd hate to see it wiped out entirely.
No, but that is still permitted as an accessory residential use.
Yeah, what Denise is saying is you could essentially wipe the definition of mixed use, and those uses that you just described, Mary Kay, would be applicable with the accessory use.
So the only thing the mixed use is really doing is allowing something like Quinn to happen, or something much larger with having all residential on anything but the ground floor.
When you're
Sorry,
saying Quinn, you mean
what-
Pat Quinn, just to be
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is Quinn, please?
Oh,
A
Pat Quinn's
developer.
project is kind of across the street from CHOP on Mill Road, Dave. And we had changed the code a few years ago, and where at that time you could have transient lodging, it was considered a commercial use, and then they could live on the second floor.
Oh, he's
And-
right there on the corner,
It's Mill Road Place, that white building, kind of right across from the,
oh, sure, okay, yeah,
Twigs.
got it, okay.
So that's how his project was approved. But at that time, and we're changing it now, we were allowing transient rentals to be considered commercial. We are now changing that.
Got it. All right, thank you.
I don't think you should delete it. I think as written, where it's very clear that it cannot be used for lodging, and if you want to put in short-term or long-term lodging there, but I don't think you should strike that.
I think we take care of the problem with it if we pull out the commercial considering transient lodging commercial. That's where the real challenge was for us. That's where I think that the spirit of it was not followed.
Right. Okay, I wanted to have a conversation because I just kept getting hung up on it.
I also feel pretty strongly that we need to, I mean, I guess it says that the first floor must be commercial. I guess that's really what it comes down to. I know it's something I've said a long time ago, and I'll say again, because I don't know what happens in the village above 35 feet, but I certainly think that we should stop whatever's going on there, because I think ultimately we need to allow buildings to go up higher than 35 feet. unless we want to have our village ultimately be nothing but sprawl. But that's only tangentially connected to this.
Do we have a bad connection with you, Nate, or is it a bad microphone? You're very garbly.
I must need to reset my cam and mic.
Yeah, you
I'll do
might
that
have
now.
I just want to hold on. Give me 1 second. Now that I know Nate mentioned it. I know Denise, I've talked to you about building height as well. Is that something we could touch on later?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get down to that definition and bring it up again.
So when Nate was, last time arguing against himself, are we changing the percentage?
That no more than 33% and no more than 50%.
I suppose I had to get rid of everybody's faces. It was covering half of the,
Am I any clearer now?
Yes.
oh, yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. I was saying, just talking about, and I know this will come up later, talking about things happening above 35 feet. I really feel like all we can ask is that first floor, if it's a 2-story development or building, then having 50% of it isn't unrealistic. If it's a 3-story building, I think that still that first floor is all that we really need to have be commercial.
Mhm.
I mean, I do agree.
Yep.
And I get the exact opposite. I'm told that every tall building in the village is totally ugly, and how dare we have allowed any of them to be built. So, and these are buildings that are, at 35 feet.
Yep. I get the same thing. Same thing.
We all hear that.
Mhm.
I mean, and unfortunately, maybe it's because we still have, Al's is a single story. Stabor's basically a single story. Skal's got an attic, not considered a real 2-story building. There have been new buildings that have been built that, have not taken the opportunity to go higher for whatever reasons. And so then when we get the Door Hotel or Marina View or whatever that are, doing the 3-story, things just look out of place, I guess, until every old business is sold and torn down and all downtown is 3 or 4 stories. And is that what we want to see? I mean, I love Al's new, I love Stabor. I love the new building. I have no idea what they're planning on, for the old Casperson property. But I understand what you're saying, Nate. I just don't know that that's what I want downtown to look like.
Again, we only have so much of the village. We're not manufacturing more of the village, contrary to Liberty Grove, or don't have this master plan to annex it. Or if we do, it's very secret and locked up very deep in those files.
I can't even tell you the operation name.
You better come up with a good one by next meeting. I want to hear what that operation name is. But at some point, to either we're going to die as a village, or we're going to have to increase our density. And one of the ways that the ways to increase density is to increase building height. If we want to make our village more livable and have the amenities we want, I think that that's really something we have to do. And just because the few examples of buildings coming up that are tall have not been something that people like, people don't like change. And,
Right.
and the reality is change is the only constant. All we can do is hope to manage it. We can't
Correct.
stop it.
Well, and a unique thing about that, to Nate's point, is, the village is fortunate enough to own the beneficial side of downtown, that park district, the beachfront, the waterfront. Even if you did decide to change building height down the road and buildings did decide to go up, you're still fortunate to not have anyone be able to touch the water side of it.
True.
Right. I just, there's just a part of me, and maybe it's a very selfish part. Maybe it's a very biased part of me, but the only people that end up coming and building and buying in downtown Sister Bay are very wealthy out of towners. It does absolutely nothing.
I had, I have been doing a lot of the listening and researching about city planning and whatnot. And one thing I came across that I threw the bow this weekend was in Vancouver, they have a 20% tax on real estate if it's purchased by someone that is not a resident. I have no idea if that's legal, but I mean, that's the kind of action you'd almost have to do to keep that from happening, because I mean, the prices of the village's assessed value is going up astronomically.
Yes,
And that's good and bad.
yes.
Nate did share that with me and doing some research. I don't know if it's even legal for us to touch that because the state kind of handles property taxes.
Sure, I just thought, throw some spaghetti at the wall. Sometimes it doesn't stick. It was kind of outrageous, like on first glance, but I'd like to hear somebody say, no, we can't do it before we say, no, we can't do it, or even if we want to do it.
Nate, you saw me when you presented that idea to me. I smiled because I've never heard it before, but I think that would take push at the state level to do something like that.
No, all it is it's a phone call and a conversation to Randy Nesbitt.
But I guess what I'm saying is it's going to take something that extreme to stop this. It's changing. Are we all going to get priced out of our own village? It very well could happen.
But that's the main question, Nate, the one you just said. Are we going to get priced out of our own village? We already see that happening with our young people. We can't get enough workers to work here because they can't afford to live here. And it's a problem, and it's a very serious one.
And one thing that we can do to make things more affordable and more attractive to people is increase density, because density ultimately does allow for reduced costs for delivering utilities and a number of other things that are tied to the cost of housing.
But first you have to have the housing.
Well,
First,
Nate
you have the-
is right with that. And I think you're going to see a trend right now. I don't think building costs are going to go down even when more lumber is released. And I'm being told this by people in the industry who vend cement, steel, and lumber. It's much cheaper and less expensive to build a 2-story house than to blast and do a basement or to do a same square foot ranch home. I think that the economy is going to dictate the fact that we're going to have to go up.
Well, and maybe this is a conversation not while we're rewriting the zoning code, but when we tackle the comprehensive plan.
Yep.
And we have all the input from the residents in Sister Bay as we have those meetings, and we hear what they have to say and what is it that they want, and how do they want us to grow. And I understand that, yes, people do not like change, and it is the only constant. It's our job to make sure that we do it in the right way. And yes, in the downtown is where you should be the most dense. That's what downtowns are for.
Right.
So I think that's a bigger conversation for the comprehensive plan that will dictate how we move forward and how we update that plan. How does that sound?
Oh, agreed.
Okay.
Okay.
So on the mixed use, if we just change this, that if it was a multi-story building, the entire first floor has to be retail, would that make it easier?
It would, we wouldn't have to have all those percentages and everything else. It's just straightforward. First floor has to be commercial
Yeah.
and not lodging,
I like it.
and everything else just goes away.
Less is
No,
more.
too much deleting.
Control Z, Control Z.
You know, can you guys guide me on this? Because I want to make sure I'm understanding your thought process on this.
Okay, on the sentence that it starts after hotel motel use, period. And
Okay.
then everything after that goes away, including my, should we consider deleting this, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So then you want to get rid of, should we consider deleting this?
I did already because it was saved in there. It's just
Oh.
got a strike through on it. So
Okay.
that'll come off. Okay. So this was part of the food truck, this next one.
Hold on, didn't we just got rid of the first floor requirement too?
You got to put the first floor back in.
Yep.
Oh, the first floor,
Yeah.
yes.
So the first floor.
Entire first floor, just to be clear, so there's not ambiguity.
Okay, how about this? We might have to add another sentence. What if the first floor is all commercial except one unit because they are building a traditional hotel motel and they want their lobby on the first floor? We have to give them that.
A lobby is still a commercial use.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that anything else.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if, Denise kind of got tripped up the way I am. I'm thinking, gosh, what about storage? What about the bathrooms? If it's,
That's still part of the commercial side though.
okay.
Commercial bathrooms, commercial storage.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is. You know what I mean? They wouldn't consider it residential storage or residential, Okay. All right, moving on. Mobile food establishment is something I put together a draft ordinance for the food truck. I've started it. There are some definitions in that ordinance, and so I wanted to throw the definition just in there. Obviously, we're not here yet and not here to discuss food trucks, but for putting the definitions, I just wanted to put this in here as well.
Okay, and so you pulled a lot of this from stats and DATCAP.
Yes,
Okay,
a lot of this is a lot of shared communities use the same definitions for coverage.
Okay.
So just wanted to put that in there. Okay, mobile home, there's some state statute highlight.
Yep, somebody just has to follow up on that.
I'm just gonna write staff following up.
Okay.
Okay. Nursing home highlighted 3 and 7 hours a week.
Yeah, is that state definition?
My guess is yes.
Well, we need to clarify.
Yeah. Janelle, could you look that up?
Well, she can, well, okay, if she can do it fast, yeah.
I'm doing it right now. You're muted, Janelle.
What section am I looking for?
It doesn't give a section in the statutes.
Just for nursing home?
Yep. I mean, I would just think that,
Okay, what it says is a nursing home is a place where 5 or more persons who are not related to the operator or administrator reside, receive care or treatment and because of their mental or physical condition require access to 24-hour nursing services.
Okay, so I think after personal care, it can just be period. In excess of 7 hours just makes no sense.
Okay, property owner was added. And
Okay.
change. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Very simple.
Should you go back to nursing home and state that a licensed medical professional needs to be on site or something like that?
Did it say that in the statutes, Janelle?
I think so. I could check again. Required access to 24-hour nursing services, including limited nursing care, intermediate level nursing care, and skilled nursing services.
So we just have requiring nursing care or personal care.
It doesn't say anything about personal care, it just says nursing care.
And then let's take out personal care.
Janelle, does it say anything about licensed care?
Nursing
No.
care.
It says require access to 24-hour nursing services, including limited nursing care, intermediate level nursing care, and skilled nursing services.
Why don't we just use that definition?
I would.
So we'll take this out and use, I'll have Janelle fill in the statute later.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, rear setback.
Okay. I think we should remove the excluding, and this is going to come up in side setback and side yard. When we have, especially in the downtown area, where the lots are smaller, that we need to be able to have a complete 6-foot buffer, either for rain, landscaping. And so if you have overhangs and steps and stoops and gutters and awnings all in there, that limits what you can do in that small 6-foot space.
Okay.
They could still have two property owners agree to a 0 setback.
But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't necessarily approve that if there was not, you know, green space or something. I'm just in something that we've been dealing with recently, just really concerned about, you know, that everything is asphalt to the property line. And you can't landscape in asphalt. And there's no soil, you know, to take the water off of the parking lot unless you put in a drain. So.
So you're really talking about an impervious surface. That's
Well,
your-
but if you wanted to do some landscaping, your overhangs would be a problem also. If, you know, the Plan Commission was looking for, you know, some larger trees or trees that would eventually get larger.
I guess I'm trying to understand where this would come into play. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it, just.
I think mostly in the downtown area, because all the other lots are in the other zoning districts are larger and wouldn't necessarily be affected by this. You know, in the downtown district, we only have, I think, a 10% minimum green space area, which is really limited as it is, but I think it's important to have a perimeter between properties for soil. And that doesn't mean that if there's a 0-foot setback agreed upon, that, you know, that's maybe only where the building is, and maybe that would be okay as long as there's still a, you know, perimeter around the other areas.
Are we pushing the setback further by including these, though, making the setback even greater than we might otherwise intend, therefore making things even less dense?
You're probably with an overhang. What are you looking at? About a foot?
No, you can sometimes look up to 4 feet.
An overhang?
Oh, yeah.
Who has a 4-foot overhang on a building?
Door hotels is probably at least 3 feet.
Oh. Right on the street there, that's more than 3 feet. That's,
Okay.
in fact, I thought that was going to be a porch. I mean, I can see what you're doing here, that if you had two buildings that you thought were 12 feet apart, but with overhangs, you could have maybe only 6 feet that are not, you know, that's uncovered, and or stoops and or patios.
I mean,
I
if
can s-
nobody agrees with me, that's okay. I just wanted to bring it up for conversation.
I can see your point on impervious surface at the ground level.
Is your problem, can we solve it by saying, do we care? We don't care about the overhang, but we really don't want our steps. We don't want, to his point, we don't want concrete or asphalt in that buffer zone.
Yes, that would help tremendously.
But you can have an overhang.
I
So,
would
go ahead, Nick.
further drill down to say impervious surface there, because if you wanted to put certain kinds of pavers in or whatnot, you could do that, still not have the water issues, and those are going to generally be far more, I don't know, green space friendly, for lack of a better term, than just having something that's paved or asphalted. I can see ruling out solid pavement and putting solid asphalt there. That,
Okay, I'm good with that.
So how do you want me to word that?
Yeah.
Do you want me to take, it would say excluding overhangs and then removing uncovered steps and stoops?
I would say excluding then, but say including any impervious surface.
So you, I
So
guess if,
before excluding, you would want to put in including impervious surface, right, Nate?
That would be what I'd be comfortable with.
Okay, and then excluding those other things.
And taking off uncovered steps and
we wanted
stoops.
to take this out. Okay.
Okay, and so then the same would be, I don't know why we have a rear yard and a rear setback, a side yard setback and a side.
The very deep philosophical question that comes up far more often than I ever thought is, what's a rear yard, what's a side yard, and what's a front yard?
Yeah. How many times have we heard that?
Yep.
Should be the direction towards the administrator's house, wherever that is. When the administrator changes, it'll change completely.
It's challenging. I'll give you that, but
Okay, we're also gonna possibly, I don't know if we're gonna have to change the illustrations at all.
Okay.
We'd have to look at those.
Okay.
So we have to follow up on the illustrations.
Probably should get Bo a box of crayons.
Yeah.
I would love to draw that. Okay. Okay, residential use and residential agent were added.
Well, I don't think you let anybody read that, Bo.
Oh, I thought we all knew what this was, but I will leave it.
Oh, that's right, because it's in blue. It's yours.
Yes.
This was just from previous meetings, so. Okay. Are there notes here? It doesn't look like it. Okay, short-term rental.
Here we go.
So I added wording to this.
How do we define boarding house?
Boarding house is, Bo doesn't have to scroll up. I can just look it up here. A boarding house is a place in which lodging with or without meals is offered for compensation to non-transient guests. So, when I used to rent out rooms in my house, I was considered a boarding house when I rented out to, year-round people. It provides 4 or less rooms for rent. It is the owner's personal residence and is occupied by the owner during the time of rental.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, side setback, we have the same thing.
Yep.
So it was including impervious surface. Excluding overhangs, and then whoa, don't do that. to me.
Oh,
Ooh, don't take all that out.
Same thing here. Okay.
nope. Gutters and awnings, wrong one.
Oh, thank you.
I think it should be a surface, not a circus too.
Thank you. We must be getting past an hour and a half into the meeting.
We're right at an hour and a half. We're almost done. I think we can hang in there and
Here we go. We're at S. We're seeing the light. Okay.
Okay, now does gutters and awnings stay in there? So it says including impervious surface and excluding overhangs, gutters and awnings. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Structure permanent. There's highlights.
Just questions. I mean, why did we determine, does anybody remember why 9 months is, whether it's a permanent or temporary?
I'm guessing that at one point this village had a problem with temporary structures, and so they wanted to make sure it said for a period not to exceed 9 months, and for consistency you had to put for a period of more than 9 months.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Something
this
about-
is where the Piggly Wiggly then violated our code.
Yes. And by the way, I have a recollection of some building down on the on the highway that had been empty and been used. It was in somebody's backyard. This goes
Okay.
back a long, long time ago, Denise.
Mormor? No, not Mormor's. That was Ron's. It was the one on the highway.
Yeah. What was that?
It was something
remem-
about grandma's.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, Moore's Boutique? The old young log house?
Yeah.
No, was it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, subordinate was highlighted.
I mean, we amended this ordinance in 13, and I don't even know why we have it in our definitions. I mean, it's fine. I it just was weird to me. That's all. I probably shouldn't have highlighted it. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, I don't see that too often. Okay, tourist rooming house. Okay, I'm not hearing any questions. We can move to train. Well, there was a minor change there. Okay. Sorry, Marge. Unnecessary hardship height was just removed.
No, I couldn't get that to go away.
Oh, okay.
I think it was by accident. I highlighted it.
So we can check deletion. Okay. Use conditional, see conditional uses. Fine by that. Okay.
Okay.
Vacation rentals, see short-term rentals and tourist rooming houses. Fine with that. And I think that's it. Okay, if you don't mind, can we just go back up before I forget to?
Wait. Go back down to yard. Okay. No, that's all right. Just because we made those other changes, I thought maybe I missed something, but that was a different.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to scroll up. Just because we're talking about this and be a good time to bring it up. Okay, so essential services is defined here. When the definition was written, the essential services are only described as the utilities necessary for principal use or service use of the principal structure. I think it would be important to add or amend essential services to include police, fire, and medical services. And the reason I'm talking about that is because we could potentially have a new facility, medical facility, that may require going above 35 feet. And if we change this definition to allow medical services to fall under this category, then essential services do not have to fall under the height restriction in the zoning code.
Yes,
Makes sense.
Well,
perfect.
police, fire, and medical are certainly essential services.
Absolutely.
And I will change this as I need to, like police, public safety, fire. and
EMTs, I mean, definitely.
I will just note this in here and then go through and add a more formal definition to it. But I wanted to get Plan Commission's understanding of that. And if everyone was comfortable including police, fire, and EMS into essential services, because I do believe that they fall under that category.
Mhm.
Certainly.
Agree.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yay.
I
Okay.
think shared documents, it works wonders, and I think where we need to, we can continue to do this. And when we start moving into sections like B1, B2, and B3, we will do the same thing, and we'll make them separate documents, and then afterwards we can put them all together.
I mean, I would really like it if if I wasn't the only one making changes to the document or having questions about it. I don't know, maybe everybody had notes on their hard copy or something and that they were addressed. But I really want to feel that this is not that, we didn't have conversation and agreed or disagreed and came up with, consensus. If everybody's able to get to this shared drive and just type in that, their own stuff, and it's just all right there then for us to go through.
And even
Well-
beforehand, if you make changes to this, I would just take a glance at it. I mean, what we just did and go through definitions, everyone can look at it beforehand, and nothing will be new, and we can talk about it, and you can have your own notes based off of people's changes.
So do you think that so staff will clear up what they have to, we'll review this document again. We'll talk to the attorney on a couple of the issues we needed clarification on, along with the 20% real estate tax. Thank you, Nate. And so I don't know, if we meet for an hour and a half, I don't know that all the time, we'll need all that time to go through the revised document once it's cleaned up. So what's the next thing? Do you want to start then?
I would like to start
In
with,
conditional use, just in,
do you want to tackle conditional use first and then start adding some of the language for the short-term rentals into the districts like we discussed?
yeah. So
Let's-
what is it that we have it's just B1, B2, and B3 for conditional uses, right?
Correct. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll pull the B1, B2, and B3 sections into a similar document, and then we can go through the business districts.
Okay. Okay. All right. Can you do them as 3 separate documents then?
Yep.
Instead of,
We'll do B1, B2, and B3.
okay. Okay. All right. That sounds good. And we'll just see how long it takes us to get through the definitions. And then we can start on B1 conditional uses.
Yeah, I think the shared drive is saving us a lot of time. I mean, we got through basically all of the definitions in 1 to 2 meetings.
Yeah, no, I love the share drive. Love it.
Perfect.
So,
All right, well, that's all I have.
okay. Any other comments from any other members?
Nothing.
If I got it right, that at the next meeting, you're gonna review the revised definition section. You're also gonna talk about the regulation that pertains to conditional uses in B1, B2, and B3.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then at 7:45, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Okay, nobody wants to leave. Okay, motion by Gretzmacher,
I'll second.
second by Baker. All in favor, respond with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you, everyone. It was good conversation.
It went
Good
well.
meeting.
Good night.
See
All right,
ya.
everybody.
Bye.